Getting more details here on the trade deal that the president just announced with Vietnam. Eamon Javers joins us from the White House, Eamon, with some new tariff rates.
Yes, Sarah, that's right. This is the first trade deal that we've seen since that deal with the UK, and the president putting out some more details here on social media just in the past couple of minutes. He says the terms are that Vietnam will pay a 20% tariff on any and all goods sent to the U.S. and a 40% tariff on transshipping. That's important because there's been a lot of concern about people trying to do an end run on tariffs of goods that are manufactured in China, then sent through Vietnam, and then out into the rest of the global economy. That seems to be an effort to put a stop to that. He's also saying here that the Vietnamese government will give the United States total access to markets for trade. In other words, the president says here they will open their market to the United States, meaning that we will be able to sell our product into Vietnam at zero tariff. The president going on to say here, it's my opinion that the SUV, or as is sometimes referred to, large engine vehicle, which does so well in the United States, will be a wonderful addition to the various product lines with Vietnam. So we're looking for a little bit more color here from the White House on exactly when this was signed, sort of what the negotiations were leading up to it. But clearly, the White House is set to position this as a big victory this morning, given that all eyes have been focused on that July 9th date for trade deals to start to come to fruition. The White House now saying they've got a trade deal, and it's a big one with Vietnam, guys. Back over to you.
So the 20%, he says Vietnam pays the 20% tariff, but is that to any imports into the U.S.? Yeah. So Nike pays it, all the different retailers pay it for their production? So the way the president talks about tariffs is he talks about other countries paying the tariff, but in reality what tariffs are is a tax on importers in the United States. So I believe what he's referring to there is a 20% tariff on Vietnam that would be paid by U.S. importers at the point of where the goods cross the border, right? So U.S. Customs would be collecting taxes from American importers of Vietnamese goods. The president talks about that as a cost for the foreign government, the foreign country. In reality, those tariffs are paid by American importers, and they have to, then those importers have to sort out with their suppliers and with others and with their customers where the burden of that tariff is going to fall.
Eamon, July 9th is, a week away. Is this kind of expected, this particular announcement? Are we expecting more like this over the next week? Of course, it comes just after some less constructive comments about Japan.
Yeah, I mean, the White House has been predicting a flurry of trade deals before that July 9th deadline, but we haven't seen any, right? And so this is the first time we've seen one, come above the surface, so to speak. And the question is, are there others behind this that are lined up and ready to go? That would be a vindication for the president's tariff strategy here, that rattling the global cage back in April with the so-called Liberation Day tariffs was an effective way to get countries to the table and get them to negotiate trade deals that are on more favorable terms for the United States. We'll see whether that happens, but the White House is clearly going to point to this today as a big victory and say, look, we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do.
I mean, it's kind of steep terms for Vietnam, not as good of a deal for them. If we pay, we go in there with zero tariffs, but it's very interesting. Thank you, Eamon.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more quick detail from our Megan Casella, who points out that just for context here, Vietnam's average tariff on imports before this was 9.4%. So that's a big step up, right?
Right. No, that's a concession that they're getting, that the U.S. is getting for shipping our exports there tariff-free. Thank you.
They don't buy that much from us.
Not as much as we take from them.
No, of course not.
Clearly. But, what's interesting, David, is that the market is not reacting really to this.
Although we are seeing Nike's up 2%. Some of the names in particular that rely a lot on manufacturing in Vietnam are benefiting.
Maybe it's good to just have some clarity here, ultimately, with the big unknown over what would happen, and certainly not revert to that 40%, which was originally, or 40-something percent.
Yeah, 48.
Which was 44% or something originally announced. I'm just looking at some of the retailers, but they do, remain higher. Consumer discretionary is higher as a group right now.
All right.